Well, good morning, everyone. I'm here at our Answers in Genesis offices in Petersburg, Kentucky, and it is Wednesday morning here, actually 22:10. And we're going to give you an update on the incredible Genesis Paradise Lost movie. And I have someone with me here today, one of our staff members, I'll introduce to you in a moment, who actually went and saw the movie. And guess what? It was so popular that they have actually put on a second showing, and it'll be tomorrow night, which is the 16th. So it'll be on the 16th, and various theatres, hundreds of theatres actually all across the nation. And so I have with me Avery. Now, Avery, you were able to go and see the movie. You know, I could not even go and see the movie because I was speaking in Louisiana, in Shreveport, Louisiana, actually Bossier City, and that was a conference that had been booked up for a couple of years. And right on the very night that this movie is showing, and I couldn't even go and see it, and apparently I'm in the movie. Is that right?
You are in the movie. Several times.
Avery, you're one of our writers here. In fact, you do a lot of writing, and you help me with all my radio programs as well, the daily radio programs. You do a lot of research, and I get emails from you every day with all the latest articles and things. We use a lot of them on our Answers News program that's broadcast live every Monday and Thursday. And so you're one of these people here behind the scenes, but you do an awful lot of research for us and writing for us and help with all sorts of areas. But you went and actually saw the movie.
I did.
And they're going to write a review on it for us.
It went up yesterday.
Oh, it went up. It's already up?
Yes, I believe so.
Do you know what I was doing yesterday? I was sitting in a plane. And you know what it's like when you're sitting in a plane and you're supposed to take off and they keep telling you there's an issue, it'll be another 5 minutes, it'll be another 10 minutes. I always know they lie. When they say 5 minutes, you know it's not
3
5
hours
minutes.
later.
Yeah, exactly. We finally got home from Louisiana.
Goodness.
Anyway, through Atlanta. But anyway, it was one of those, horrible flying days, if you know what I mean.
You seem to have a lot of those.
Yeah, I think every time I fly, I have a lot of those. Anyway, it should be time now that notifications are going out. We should have people online. And while you start telling us about the movie, I'm actually going to connect here, see if anyone's got any questions, and I'll have it coming up here on my own cell phone. So go ahead and give us a little update. First of all, were there many people at the theater when you were there?
There was. It was the local theater here, and it was pretty much full. There was a few seats up at the front that were empty, but other than that, the 3D showing was pretty much full. So, and I was listening to kind of people as they were leaving, and it was just rave reviews. Everyone was saying it was really awesome. The animation was incredible. So basically, Genesis Paradise Lost, it's a 3D film. They had 2D showings as well, but definitely go to the 3D one. It was amazing. And it features animation of the days of creation from day 1 right through to day 6. And interspersed through the animations are interviews with top scientists and theologians, including yourself and several AIG staff scientists. Dr. Georgia Purdam's in it, Dr. Danny Faulkner, Dr. David Menton, Dr. Tommy Mitchell, Dr. Terry Mortensen,
Bodie Hodge,
and
myself.
And yourself. Yeah, I think that's everybody that was
from
from AIG.
Answers in Genesis,
and there was a lot of other theologians and scientists as well. And yeah, it was incredible.
So the question is, will it be playing again? And the answer is yes.
Yes, tomorrow night.
In fact, these are called Fathom events. They're special one-night events for movies. And this one gained a lot of attention. And it was in, 720 theaters, I think?
Yeah, it's over
about 1,200 screens, because some of them had 2D and 3D. And you really like the 3D.
Yeah, you definitely see it in 3D. I got to see an early screener of it in 2D, and the 3D is amazing. You got to definitely see it in 3D.
I know some people have trouble with 3D. It affects them in some ways.
Yeah.
But it must be stunning. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I mean, the dinosaurs in 3D are just really, really cool. And there's a lot of dinosaurs in it. It was pretty cool.
So someone said, will the movie be available to give as a Christmas gift this year?
It's going to be out on DVD in a couple of months, so it won't be ready for Christmas.
Won't be ready for Christmas, but it will be out on DVD in a couple of months.
That's what I've heard, that it will be a couple of months. It'll be out
so Eric Hovind, of course, is the one and his ministry Creation Today that's behind the movie, together with a production company. And some of the people watching, actually, my grandson is watching. Can you believe that?
Oh, that's awesome.
So I need to give a shout out to Malachi. Okay, so he's watching. He's our eldest grandchild, actually. So here someone said, I saw it with family and can't wait for the next one and to buy it on DVD to share.
Awesome.
So if anyone saw it, I'd love you to go on and just tell us what you thought of it. Because I was looking on my Twitter, and you know what was interesting? Before the movie was even shown, some of the atheists were writing reviews of it, and
I saw that.
and they hadn't seen it.
Yeah, based on the trailer.
Based on the trailer, they wrote these reviews, and there was one in Canada, I think, and there was someone down here in the States, and these atheist bloggers writing these reviews on how bad the movie was, and they hadn't even seen the movie just based on the trailer. But it just shows you they don't want to hear what we've got to say. They don't want to hear the evidence anyway. They've already decided. They're not going to listen. So. Yeah, it reminds me of the secular newspaper reporters, many of them that come and interview me about something at Answers in Genesis, the Creation Museum, or the Ark. They've written those articles before they interview me. I know they have. And in fact, sometimes I feel like offering to them, would you like me to write the article for you? I know what you're going to say.
It's already lit, ABC.
Okay, so let's see what people are saying here. Oh, we better give the website.
Yes,
GenesisMovie.com. GenesisMovie.com. And we'll pin that right in there in the comments anyway, and it'll be there for you right at the top. Someone said, I'm so excited to watch it tomorrow in 3D, taking their 11-year-old.
Oh, great,
and,
yeah. The kids will especially love the animation.
So someone asked me, Kenny, are you actually going to see it this time? Because I missed out on the 13th, right?
Yes,
so now it's on the 16th, which is tomorrow night, and guess what? I can't see it. And you know why? Because I've been invited to Washington, D.C.
Oh, my.
For the opening of the Museum of the Bible.
Oh, okay,
And they have a gala dinner on Thursday night that I have to go to. My wife and I are going to.
Oh, bummer.
And so I can't go and see it.
I could go to D.C. for you. I'll go in your place for you.
So I can't believe this. I wanted to go and see it in 3D. I haven't seen it in 3D. I've seen bits and pieces in 2D.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And it has a really strong gospel presentation. So if you're taking unbelieving friends and family members, the gospel presentation it was really moving. Really
somebody
strong.
said here, I want my 13-year-old daughter to watch because she goes to public school and I want her to get prepared to defend her faith.
Yes.
True evidence based on the Word of God. Do you think it would do that? Is there a lot of information in the movie?
It is. It starts with showing that it's a worldview battle, that it is not science versus religion. It's one worldview versus another worldview, the secular view versus the biblical view. And then it moves into looking at some of the evidence and showing how it confirms the Bible. And does a really good job of that, looking at astronomy, geology, biology, a whole bunch of different sciences.
So the whole movie is in 3D?
Yes, except for the panel at the very, very end. So if you go to watch it, wait for all the credits to go, because there's a panel that features you, Dr. Faulkner, Dr. Purdom, and Emil Zwane from Living Waters. So you want to stay for that.
So the panel is at the end.
Yeah.
But
the rest of
the whole movie itself is all 3D.
Yep.
Okay. And so tell us sort of what the movie looks like. There's animated sequences. Are they in between the interviews, or how does it work?
Yes, yeah. So it starts with some interviews that kind of lay the foundation that this is a worldview battle, and then it moves into the first 3 days of creation, and it's really neat. You'll see like the land rising up out of the water, and then you see the plants springing up, and the whole world just turns into this lush paradise, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And then they do some more interviews that relate to geology and things like that. And then they move into day 4 of creation, and they talk about astronomy. And they go into day 5, and you get to see the waters all of a sudden. All these sea creatures come to life, and some of the like plesiosaurs, things like that, come into the waters, and the birds, and it's pretty neat. And then they also have other animations where they do, like there's this really cool part where they're talking about anthropology, where they take Lucy's skull and then they take an ape skull, and they're in 3D, and they bring them together so you can see Lucy was an ape. She has all the features that an ape skull has. And it's just, I've never seen it done like that, with the two skulls are in 3D and they mesh them together so you can see how close the features are. And that's really cool.
That'd
they
be
do
really
it with
powerful.
Neanderthals and humans as well. It's really cool.
We have a Lucy exhibit here at the Creation Museum.
Yeah.
And
it's featured in the film.
And it's featured in the film.
Yep.
That's great. Actually, the panel at the end was filmed here at the Creation Museum.
Yeah, down in Legacy Hall.
And so there's a number of us in that panel. Actually, I was just looking at the comments here, and someone said there is an iPhone update to fix your messages. And I thought, what's that person talking about? Then I realized somebody here has been putting messages on here, and you'll see a little box with a question mark in it. There was a problem with iPhone and with iPad when you would type. I think it's because it was happening on mine.
Oh, okay.
And I called our tech and said, what on earth's going on? Every time I type I, it comes up with this funny thing and a question mark and put squiggles there. And
oh, lovely.
I had to do my iPhone update last night. So you haven't done your iPhone update, so I had to do that. Just shows you computer programs have problems.
They do. They do. Curse technology.
You know what's interesting? Life is built on a code system. It's like a program, right? And if you generated that by random processes, it wouldn't work.
No.
In fact, it'd be just like your iPhone when they have a little problem in the code. Somebody here said, the movie was great. My whole family enjoyed the animation, especially the science.
Awesome.
Kids ages 7, 10, and 14.
Oh, awesome.
So
Awesome.
I've had many rave reviews on Twitter and on my Facebook by people saying they took their kids and their kids loved it, took their teenage kids, adults who loved it, said the animation was stunning and the information was powerful. Because, you know, really, in a way, there's been a censorship in our culture.
Yeah.
The public schools, the secularists have basically censored kids from hearing about creation. You know what's interesting about that, Avery? Think about it. They have to legislate to protect the teaching of evolution. I mean, if evolution is so obvious, if it's fact, if creation is so wrong, if what the Bible says is so wrong, why would they be scared about kids hearing about it?
Yeah, that's a point they bring up in the film, too. Like, what does that say about your belief if you have to legislate to protect it so people don't hear any opposing views?
And I noticed people were, some people were using on Twitter one of the quotes I made in the movie, and that is, there is no separation of church and state as people understand it. Even though I'd say that, you know, there's no such thing anyway in an ultimate sense, because everyone has a religious view. But because the state is imposing the religion of naturalism, which is atheism, on generations of our kids. There is a state religion. There is a state religion in America. It's called atheism, naturalism. And that's what the public schools teach. And by and large, even though there's some Christian teachers and missionaries in the system, they're really churches of atheism. That's what they are, and that's what they become, temples of atheism. So here's somebody watching from Germany. Somebody said, we'd love to see it. Will it come out on DVD eventually? And Avery,
I've been told eventually it will, but it'll take a couple of months before it's available on DVD. So.
And can I let you into a little secret?
Sure.
Okay, this is the first time. Nobody else knows about this, right? So should I? Now let me think. Should I tell you?
Shall
I let you know a secret? You know, one of the things that we're going to do here at the Creation Museum, our special effects theatre, is 10 years old.
Right.
And just like people like me that get older, you start to wear out.
Oh, I understand. I'm getting older too.
Yeah, I know. I just, I felt it flying. You know, my back, my knees, my neck. Yeah, I'm starting to wear out. So anyway, we are actually in January and February, March this year, we're going to totally dismantle our special effects theatre. Basically rebuild it from the ground up. I mean, the room is there. Right, but it's really old. The technology's old. We can't even get parts for the projectors anymore.
Oh, dear.
So guess what we're going to do? Turn it into a 3D theatre.
Awesome.
A 3D theatre, and it's going to have a big digital screen, and we're raising funds for this at the end of the year. That's our big fundraising campaign. And we can still show the Men in White program that's in there now. It'll be divided into 3 sections on the screen. It'll look even better. But we're working with Eric Hoven and the group that produced the Genesis Paradise Lost to use parts of the animation, not the whole movie, but parts of the animation in there as a program.
Oh, and people love that.
And then we'll sell the DVD in our Dragon Hall bookstore.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then we're going to produce some 3D movies ourselves, not feature-length ones like this. They'd be short ones, like 15 minutes or so for the 3D theatre.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
That's just a little secret. I don't know whether I was supposed to let people know that. Somebody said here,
we won't tell anyone.
Great movie, well done. Love the graphics of the Creation Week. We plan to see it again on Thursday. Now, there's a rave review for you. They saw it and they want to go and see it again.
Twice, you know it's a really good film.
And they said they're going to take some friends with it. Someone said, was it a documentary style? Too much recorded interviews for over 2 hours. Will be great for adults, but by 12 and 9-year-olds will get bored. Actually, I've had a lot of people on my Twitter and Facebook, and even some people on here already, have said they took their kids age 7, 10, 14, 11, and they loved it.
Yeah. They do a really good job mixing up animation with the interview so that it doesn't feel like you're sitting there watching a documentary. It really breaks it up and keeps it really interesting. And they switch between people in the interviews quite frequently so that it keeps it fast-paced and moving. And
well, one person I know on my Twitter said he took his 11-year-old daughter and she absolutely raved over it. And
that's awesome.
So someone here is saying, I hope this will be available DVD globally. Yes, I'm sure it will be. And then available in the Philippines. I'm sure it'll be available for anywhere in the world once it comes out on DVD. Of course, if you want to see it in 3D, you've got to go to the theaters, right to see it in 3D. But did you know down at the Ark, we actually have this new technology. It's a 3D monitor.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And we show just a little excerpt of the movie on that 3D monitor.
Just to whet people's appetite.
So, yeah. And and actually this week that monitor failed. Brand new monitor. Would you believe the manufacturers are replacing it? So they're sending us a new one. Just a reminder, we live in a fallen world.
We do indeed.
And man can't create things as good as God does, of course. So the visuals are incredible. Somebody said they'll look forward to seeing it as a HD download. Someone else said look forward to seeing it tomorrow night. Someone watching from Stone Mountain in Georgia. See what other questions there might be here. So somebody said if they're not already planning it, please pass along for them to offer a homeschool study guide. Actually, I heard there was some talk about doing a study guide to go with it.
I can see them doing that for sure.
So I'm sure that'll come in the future. And so let me see what else we've got here. I missed it too. Somehow our online ticket purchase got messed up.
Oh no.
We stood in the lobby of the theatre and the seats were all sold out.
Wow. I'm sorry you didn't get to see it, but it's good that it was sold out.
So, see, the person asking about their kids, there was this comment, I read it before, but the movie was great. My whole family enjoyed the animation and especially the science, kids aged 7, 10 and 14. So think about that. Young kids enjoy it. So it's not boring to watch. It sort of is a documentary style, but it's very different, isn't it? It's
very different. It's unique. There's no other film quite like that mixes the animations up with the interviews like that. And yeah, the animations are really cool. Your kids will love the dinosaurs for sure. Like, the dinosaurs are really, really cool.
And by the way, in case people didn't realize that, Avery, you're not American.
I am not. No, you can tell by my accent I'm not from here.
I can always tell when you say a boot. People should get that you're from Canada, right?
Yes.
And you work here at the ministry at
I do.
Answers in Genesis. And we have a lot of people watching here right now. So watching from Wisconsin, looking forward to seeing the Ark and seeing the movie.
Awesome.
So, hey, isn't it great that we're getting a lot of information out there?
Yes, it is.
There was a creation movie not that long ago, is Genesis History,
yeah.
and that was a Fathom event. That was sold out all across. They had a second night for that because there was so much interest, and the same has happened for this movie. The Genesis Paradise Life. They're hungry
really
for the truth. They're not getting it
answers.
in the public schools, and the secular media, by and large, don't want to have anything to do with this. And I noticed there was a number of media reports about the movie leading up to it. I haven't seen anything much since.
No, a couple things.
The secularists just hate Christians being able to get their information out there. They are the most intolerant people around. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
I mean, you read all the articles that come out.
Yes, and the comments on your Facebook and Twitter.
So it says, do they show regular animals? Actually, they did a lot of research on that and actually talked to us about that because we wanted them to represent kinds, correct?
Right, yeah. So, like, for example, there's a lion in the film, and you can kind of tell that it's a lion, but it's supposed to represent the original cat kind. So it kind of has like stripes and spots and lion features, so it kind of mixes all the different features of the cat kind into one. So you can recognize that it's a cat, but it doesn't look exactly like.
So often in the past, when Christians have produced things, they haven't done it in a way that represents a reality of history.
Yeah,
and that's why at the Ark Encounter, for instance, in our restaurant, we actually have a world-class display of taxidermy of animals, but they're all animals that live in the present world.
Right,
but in the Ark itself, in the cages and in the exhibits, they're all sculpted animals that represent the original kinds, and you'll recognize, and it's the same here at the Creation Museum, you recognize, well, that's a bear, but it doesn't look like a bear that you see today, but it's a bear.
Or the giraffe,
right?
The giraffe kind. You can tell it's a giraffe, but not exactly the same.
And that's what they did in the movie too.
So
as well.
So be able to recognize what kind they belong to, but it doesn't look exactly like the modern species we have today.
Here's another person who said, saw it and going again.
Awesome.
Someone from Texas saying, we'll be watching it tomorrow night. Again, someone asking about is it going to come out on DVD, and it will in a few months, right? It'll come out on DVD.
And there's a part 2 coming too. So eventually there'll be a part 2. This was part 1. There's a part 2 coming too. So that'll be a little ways into the future. But
I'm sure it will be, because this took a few years to produce.
Yes, yeah. So,
but I just think it's thrilling that we're able to get movies like this into the theaters.
Yeah.
And when people see that the theaters are packed out and they sell so many tickets, and then they have to have a second showing like this, it shows there's a real hunger for this. And I believe there's more and more people who are waking up to the fact that, secularism, atheism is totally bankrupt. It's destroying our culture.
Yeah.
And people want answers, and people are flocking to the Ark and the Creation Museum. You know, it's interesting, just like the secularists wrote all these negative reviews about this movie before they even saw it, and before it was even shown in theaters. They continue to write all sorts of negative stuff about the Ark and the Creation Museum, and they don't come here. And I mean, some of them have been here, but if they do, they lie. They say nobody's coming. And
or
you know
they
how
walk through it in 5 minutes. It doesn't take 5 minutes to walk through the Creation Museum.
or the Ark.
Yeah.
Anyway, so somebody said there was only one thing I didn't like about the movie. You ready for this? The billions of dead things, quote, just doesn't sound right without an Aussie accent.
Yes.
I agree. Billions of dead things buried in rock layers laid down by water all over the earth. There it is with an Aussie accent.
There it is with an Aussie accent. That's the way it's supposed to be said.
Well, Avery, thanks for being with us this morning. We're in my office, actually, and standing in front. Did you know there was a man who's in his 90s who made this model of the Ark for me and sent it to me?
Pretty amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's all made out of little pieces of wood that he glued together. And he was so proud of it. Yeah, that opens up there.
Oh, wow, it opens up and there's like ramps and, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Isn't that phenomenal?
That's
and he
really
sent
neat.
that to me. It must have taken him ages to make this. He even made it so the windows would open up like that. And he modeled off what he saw in our Answers magazine.
Oh, that's so neat. Wow.
So anyway, so that's a little prop at the back there today. God will use this movie for his glory. Yes, I totally agree. And someone said they went to the Ark and the Creation Museum last month and loved it. We get rave reviews. People come from all over the world to the Ark and the Creation Museum.
Yeah.
And then go to arkencounter.com. Just before I finish, let me tell people about our Christmas programs. Absolutely astounding. And our social media team will make sure that they pin the links for these in the comments. But Christmas Town at the Creation Museum, it's become a tradition here.
Yeah.
And just outside my window right here, looking across the lake, the Garden of Lights out there is one of the most...
You can already see the lights being set up.
You can see the lights being set up, yes. We have one of the most spectacular light displays that you'll see anywhere in America, the Garden of Lights. It is fantastic. We have live nativity, we have people in period dress, we have people singing, we have all sorts of different food, all sorts of things going on at the Creation Museum. I think we had 30,000 people come last year.
35,000, I think.
It was 35,000. We had to turn some people away at the gates because you didn't have enough parking. We've now built a big extra parking lot here at the Creation Museum. Now, at the Ark Encounter, from December 8 right through to January 15, each night, there's going to be a 15 laser projection program on the side of the Ark. And in actual fact, hey, Avery, you might be able to help me here.
Sure.
But we'll give people a sneak preview. I only just saw these yesterday. There's thousands of renderings. This is one here that'll be on the side of the Ark, but there's going to be thousands of renderings because this is like a 10-minute animated program that starts in Genesis, goes through to the flood, through to the nativity, and then through to the cross. And the gospel is presented, but anyone will want to see this because it is amazing. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the whole side of the Ark as a screen?
That's a big screen.
Now, we can actually say this. Nowhere in the entire world has Noah's Ark ever been used, a life-size Ark, as a screen to show a laser projection program after they 3D mapped the Ark and showing this on the side of the Ark. Nowhere in the world has this ever been done. And this is the nativity here.
This is going to be so cool.
And as this comes up on the Ark, it'll all be moving and things will be moving and the animation. You'll see the animals coming up. I believe that's probably God speaking to Noah, actually, about building the Ark. And so we're going to see this is Adam and Eve in the garden. There'll be all sorts of things moving on the side here as well.
That is going to be pretty cool.
So December 8th through to January 15. And as well as that, we have one of the biggest fair trade shopping markets in America and all sorts of different food and spectacular lights. And, of course, each night the Ark is lit up as a rainbow.
Yes, yeah.
And I was sort of reminded of that again this morning when I saw Australians voted. Yesterday the vote was announced that 61% voted for same-sex marriage. And the Prime Minister over there said they voted yes for love. And I did a tweet this morning and said, no, they voted yes for sin, yes for darkness, yes for man's word over God's word, yes for perverting marriage that God invented. And I did another tweet and I said this, politicians didn't invent marriage. God invented marriage. And he invented marriage in Genesis 1:27. In Genesis 2:24, he made the male and female, made the male from dust, the female from his side. You become one because you're one flesh. There's the doctrine of marriage right there.
Right there in
and
Genesis.
Jesus quotes
Yeah.
from that
Matthew
in Matthew
19
19 and Mark 10 as well. And that's another reason why we need to get movies like this out.
Yeah,
So that people can get the truth about God's word beginning in Genesis.
For sure.
So with that, genesismovie.com, encourage you to go. One more night, 16th, Thursday night,
Yes,
tomorrow night.
genesismovie.com.
Here in America. And for those around the world, it'll be available on DVD in a few months.
Yeah.
And Avery, hey, thanks for being with us.
Oh, my
and
pleasure.
glad you could go and see the movie.
I love
Even
it.
though I can't see a movie, and I'm actually in the movie, and I couldn't go and see it. I can't go tomorrow night because I'll be in Washington D.C.
Like I said, I'll go for you.
So anyway, I'll do some tweets and that from Museum of the Bible
That'll
too.
be pretty cool, yeah.
Thursday and Friday and what's going on there as well. So with that, we're signing off here from Answers in Genesis right here in Petersburg, Kentucky.